Hello, hello. If you're part of a farm family, you already know this time of the year can feel like chaos. And what I see over and over is this: farm families don't overpay on taxes because they're careless. They overpay because tax planning starts way too late. Most people only start thinking seriously about taxes when it's time to file. But by then, most of the big decisions are already behind you. So today, we're talking about why farm families overpay on taxes and how to keep more of your money. This is practical, plain English, and focus on decisions that actually move the needle. Oh, welcome back to Farmers in Finance. You're watching live here on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, my computer just shut down. Yeah, thank you for watching. This is episode 27. If you're going to watch a replay of this, that's fantastic. Thank you again. Please comment down below. Here I can watch somehow the comments that come in, and I love to have interactive shows all the time because any feedback is related to this search for financial freedom. That's right. I am broadcasting here from Financial Freedom YouTube channel. Rico is my name, and today I'm not going to be joined by Gareth. He is out on a retreat, having some fun there, learning some yoga, and he's going to come back and teach us all Westerners what yoga is all about. So today's show, as we heard on the intro, hopefully that hooked you in and you stayed. Why farm families overpay on taxes? Lovely. I love this topic, and I get fired up every time, and in two different ways, not just in the topic, but just in the way how to achieve financial freedom. And it is what's the most important thing is how to keep more of your money. And that's why you can see right there, keep more of your money, keep more of your money. That's what everybody says. The big gurus out there, they're all saying, you know, it's important to, oh, I lost my slides. That's great. I'm just going to pop my slides here back on. This is the beauty of having a live show. Yeah, so why farm families keep. So what we're going to do today is what you'll get today is why overpaying happens. And these are patterns. We get caught in, all of us get caught into patterns. Some are good patterns, some are bad patterns. So it's time to realize where the bad patterns are so that you can change them into good patterns. That's all it is. What to change going forward from here today, and practical next steps you can take for this week or this month per se, because it is April 8th today, 2026, and everybody knows it's time to file those lovely taxes. Quick disclaimer here, this is just for education purposes. I'm a former engineer, former construction contractor. I used to manage my own company. I worked in many different companies overseas as well. And I'm also a former farmer. That's the topic, Farmers, Finance, and Finance. So this is technically no tax advice, but it's more like educating on taxes, because we got to know what we should be telling our financial associates, financial advisors, and our accountants and our bookkeepers, because It's our taxes. It's not theirs. It's our taxes. So we got to know a little bit of everything. And that's why I believe that farmers have to know a little bit of everything. And then every farm is different. So not per se that this advice goes to you, because you might be farming one crop and making hot sauces and peppers and everything like that. But then there's another guy that is growing wines and everything. So all farms are different. So don't take this as your advice. This is a general show, and I love the comments because it's important to know where you're from and where you're watching this and what's your stance on farm. And you know, there's a little farmer in all of us. So this is not just for farmers, it's for everyone. Last week, there was no show. I must apologize. I went through a big learning curve and I got stuck, and there was some family issues. So when I do my recap, it's for the previous week. So 2 weeks ago, we had episode 26, and that was Before You Seed, 5 financial moves every farm should make this spring. Because if you haven't seeded yet, you must be up north in the regions of Canada. But most farmers have seeded. So, sorry about that. So you must have seeded already. So you must have done some pre-planning before you started the crops. And so what we talked about last week was that, first of all, spring is decision making. It's the time to go. You gotta get out of bed. You gotta do stuff, and you're probably never gonna go back to bed until the fall. That's for you guys, farmers out there. I know how it is. Right now, as to speak, I forgot. It just popped in my head that also, as a disclaimer, I'm a financial associate. I can't call myself a financial advisor because there's certain certifications that you have to take. But I do love learning, and I'm learning a lot being a financial associate with the Experior Financial. And I'm also a real estate agent here in the Okanagan, and I practice under eXp Realty, which is a global brokerage, and has a lot of benefits into helping people finding their true homes and their investments. So I cover a little bit of everything, and let's get going on that. What the recap was. So here were the 5 moves we covered last week. First of all, you got to know your cash flow before the season starts. That's like crucial. It's like it goes under the same umbrella as budgeting, cash flow. It's all like what to expect. Obviously, it's nothing is like a crystal ball, so you don't know what's going to happen over the years with any businesses that I've started. Everything, but you got to be prepared for the unexpected, because the unexpected is going to happen, right? Murphy's Law. So then you got to review your operating line and the real costs of debt. What kind of debt are we talking about? In past shows, we talked about bad debt, good debt, interest rates. You got to keep track on that. You got to keep track on your spending. You got to keep track on how much goes where, because like what we said last show as well, what a farmer goes through, and it goes with any businesses, but farmers especially, they have a lot of money that they have to borrow at the beginning of the season. The seeds, the fuel, every other cost that happens in the spring, it needs to be carried over until the end when the harvest comes. So that's why I'm saying every farmer is different, because there is farms that grow lettuce and they have a product in 4 weeks. But then there's farmers that grow grapes and they have a product in September. And hopefully, if the season is good and well and extended and sunny and everything like that, then they can crop out. Then there is competition, profit margin, and all this stuff that has to do with the market at the time. And every year is different, as we are all seeing prices of gas have skyrocketed because our politicians have decided to go to war again. Why do they do that? Well, we're going to explore it a little bit here as well. So going back, you got to protect against the downside risks, man. A lot of farmers get knocked out with a bad season crop or just way too much debt too fast, too soon. and they can't handle the operating costs, and then boom, or a big expense comes over and you're not protected, you're out. Strike. No striking. There is one strike and you're out. This is not an easy game. Know your break even before you plant. Yes, you got to know your margins. You got to know where to put your money, where to put your efforts and time, because it's tight. Profit margins are tight for farmers, and I know it for sure. And then what the quote of the day was then, what gets measured gets managed. So measure your metrics. Now we have this one amazing tool that's called artificial intelligence, and it can help you build so many things, apps and websites and all that, so that you don't have to spend the time understanding the dynamics of everything. It's all done for you, as I got my slides done as well from that. Okay, so we did summarize this and the recap for today. So I'm not able, most farmers, yes, most farm families don't have a tax problem. They have a planning problem. And I mean, obviously I'm guilty. I am writing the trends, and I made this episode because it's about taxes, and it is tax season, and that's why I'm writing that way. But if you're planning taxes now, sorry, you're too late. And adjust the camera here. There we go. And yeah, the tax code is built for a reason, and we'll go and explore that deeply today. But it's you need to have a strategy. You need to have proper planning, and you can do it alone, but obviously it takes a lot of time and education, and I have experienced that. And there is tools out there, just like, hey, I'm here. So if you ever need any financial advice, it's all free. All the planning that I do. So go to my websites. I have scrolling my emails, but my sites are ricardomanazza.com. There, it's got the two branches that I'm in. It's real estate and financial advising, and I got tons of free resources, more to come, where we can just, even you, if you wanted to, you can book an appointment straight on my calendar, and we can sit down and go through a full-on, deep down dive in all your financial money and debts and all your financial point of view, and then we can just cover everything. So that was just a plug for you. You can also go to farmersinfinance.com. That's where you can find past episodes where we talked about so many different topics. I mean, we talked about 27, but many, many more are coming as well. So stay tuned, come on the show. If you want to talk about these topics, you're either a financial associate, or you are an accountant, or you're just a guy that likes to teach and come on shows, I am more than welcome to, I want to invite you, not more than welcome. You're more than welcome to come on the show. So just give me an email right there on those sliding email addresses. You can reach me at both, and I will reply you as soon as I can. So let's go to slide number 2. Okay, that was the recap. So we did that. So again, cash flow planning, cost of debt, stress test. Oh, I didn't mention that actually. Stress test is everywhere. It's on your mortgage application. It's on your taxes. It's on everything, and it should be there. It's a great little test that you can apply in case that you don't get stuck and have a financial burden. When we first started the show, we talked to Gaurav, and India has a different structure, but it's still under English ruling and taxes and laws and everything. So they have similar problems, and the problems there are more about competition, and the land is very tight and limited. And so farmers, if they don't plan properly, they can get caught. And if they get caught, they sometimes actually have they take their own lives. And for that reason, I don't really understand why people would do that, but it does happen. It's a reality, and it's sad. And so that's why we're here. We're here to help everyone to make proper choices and make better choices. So, going on to the quote of the day. It's my favorite, but it's not my favorite. In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. Okay, who said that? Benjamin Franklin, 1789. Over 230 years later, taxes are still inevitable. But how much you pay is not. That's where planning comes in. Okay, so this is an old quote, right? And I'm sure we all heard it. But there was a spin here. Once I moved 15 years ago, I moved here to the Okanagan, and I got pulled into the circle of my good friends, my native friends that were here, and especially at Spotted Lake. There's a beautiful spot up there, and there's this magical place. So if you haven't come to the Okanagan, it's just before Osoyoos on Highway 3. There's this spot. Oh, this is just another plug. I'm going to go into tangents. I mean, if you have tuned to this show before, I go a lot into tangents because, there's stories to be told, right? So there's this spot, and in the winter time, it just gets covered in snow, so it's one big lake, it looks like. But in the summertime, when the water starts evaporating, there's these spots that come, and this lake is just called Spotted Lake because it's just these pools of water all collected all around, and it's a sacred point. And it's managed by one of my friends, Alex, and he has retreats there on Mother's Day and in October on the Fall Day. And in these retreats, he does a talking circle, and one of the speakers there that was at the time, that was Larry, and he said one thing: there's one truth in this old world, and that's certain. Sun goes up and goes down. That's it. So it is a perspective, and so Benjamin Franklin was in a different society. My friends were in a different society and tribe, but now we all sit under one society, and there's one truth about this quote: death and taxes. So taxes, interesting topic right now. What are taxes? What idea do you have on taxes? We pay them. We pay money. It's money, right? It's money that goes out of your pocket. So, but who are they going to? And who creates them, right? Like, who creates taxes? We never questioned, like we were born, we go to school, and then we go and buy services, but we buy a car or we buy anything, and we're like, oh, this wasn't included. In Italy, it's different. In Italy, they put everything under the price, but here we got shocked a little bit because once you go shopping for an item of clothes, right? Like, it's like, oh, it says $10. Oh, that's cool, $10. And then you go to the till, and then it's like 10. Or, well, now it's like 10, 12, what is it? Oh, shit, no, it's $11.20. And I was like, oh, why is that much more? I was like, oh, you got to pay taxes. And then it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Well, why the change? Why do I have to pay taxes now? And then, like, you realize that there's much more. Oh, Jesus, my screen is going a little wonky here. So yeah, there's much more that sits at the till, but then it's like, and I'm going to go off here because I want people to know the truth, right? You can't get freedom if you don't know the truth. So Taxes here, I have it on my notes, are money collected by government from individuals and businesses. It's usually based on income, profits, purchases, or ownership of certain assets. Taxes fund public services, infrastructure, healthcare, schools, emergency services. For a farm family, taxes reduce how much of your hard-earned money you actually keep. So that's the whole topic of this show is how much you keep, right? How much money do actually taxes take away from you, right? And and that's that's pretty critical because when it comes to uh, tax planning and proper preparation, it's essential to know where is your money going. You know where, uh, why? Has anybody asked why? Okay, I'm gonna go through the list of a few taxes that are out there, and you tell me if they're required or not. I'm just questioning it, right? Because I'm like, wow, like when I was a farmer, I was looking tight at my expenses. And I know you are out there too. You're watching this, you're a farmer, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, why do I pay income tax? Okay, okay. Answer me that question. Why do you pay income tax? Does it fix roads? Okay, no answers. Okay, I'll tell you. The roads. Do you know that there is taxes on gasoline fuel? Yes, we all know that. So then the roads are paid by the tax gasoline fuel, right? Yes, check. Okay. So how about schools? Because it said, I got these definitions from the internet, right? And now even AI can do that as well. So actually, I want to bring you over to my other. Did it change? Yes, it did. Okay, so check this out. Why do we pay taxes? At the core, taxes exist to fund that what individuals and private means cannot efficiently provide on their own. Shared infrastructure. Think about everything that allows your business and daily to functions. Road, highways, bridges. Okay. Water system, electricity grids. Public transportation. These are funded largely through taxes so everyone can operate in a connected economy. Okay. Essential public services. Tax paid for services that are necessary but not profit driven. Police, fire departments, emergency response, healthcare system in countries like Canada. Other countries don't have it. Weird. Education, schools, university. Without taxes, this would either not exist at scale or would be inaccessible to many. Okay. There is no mention after a couple of rows. Government uses taxes to build infrastructures, fund programs, invest in innovation and housing. Okay. I'm not hearing, oh, look at this. National tax funds government operation, defense and national security, municipal services. Have you heard anything about the money that gets lent out to other countries with no price tag, no return, no interest charged to other countries? I did. There's many countries that get funded and we don't see a penny, but we still have problems with our poor pensionate having proper housing. We have an exploding homeless problem, people living in their car, and yet we all pay taxes, but some money gets sent out. Anyways, what I want to point out, and it's probably obvious, is that the government is not held accountable. They're not accountants. They hire accountants, maybe, possibly. If there was accountants working, maybe they should manage money properly. But anyways, so there is taxes on pretty much everything. Every time, I'll tell you this story too. Like the first page, well, I don't have my real estate book, but the first page talks about GST. You know what GST is? Well, it's called the Goods and Services Tax. Okay, what does that do? Where is that money going? And it's right there in the first page of the real estate book, but it's everywhere. You can find it. It goes nowhere. It goes to the king and queen of England. Yes, folks. And that GST tax, you see it on everything. And guess what? Last 2 weeks ago, there was a tax release. Now, first-time buyers on new builds, they can claim the GST off of their new purchase. They can get a rebate of the GST. So they pay it, and then they got to file it and go through the proper qualification. And wonderful, the government is going to give you the GST back. So if you spent $1 million, you get $50,000 back in GST taxes. Wow, thank you, government. I mean, this is unbelievable that people don't know this stuff. And that tax doesn't do anything, doesn't build the roads, doesn't fund governments, doesn't do jack. It doesn't fund the armies, it doesn't fund the protection. It's just money gone. And it's everywhere. It's in services, it's in your Airbnb, it's in your product that you buy. The only place that it's not on there, it's food. Wonder why. But it's on your gasoline, so food usually ties together with gasoline, so it's still under there, and it keeps piling on, because who's going to pay for that tax at the end? It's the end consumer, and it comes out of your pockets. Anyways, that was just a plug. So, why do taxes exist, and why there's the rich people manage to pay less? Why? And when there's like essential government jobs, the one that pops in my mind, it just blows my mind, is a nurse. The nurse and the doctors, they are the highest paying jobs in BC, or maybe all over the world, but I'm just going with BC, and they hit tax brackets of 50%. 50% means that's just the income tax. And what does the income tax do? Nobody knows. I mean, you can go and, like what I just did before, I just plugged it into ChatGPT, and I shared it there. But it's not to say that that's where it's going. Nobody tells you where it's going. They just say, "Oh yeah, it probably runs the station." Most of the time, I mean, a little bird told me, and this is another disclaimer, it goes to pay the debt, the $1 trillion debt. That interest needs to be paid, but who's that debt owed to? Whoa, now we're going to go into conspiracy theories, folks. And that debt, it goes to the Central World Bank. Yes, I've said it here, and now they're going to cut my stream off, but anyways, it doesn't really matter. Not many people are watching this. This is just my outlet, just to vent how this world is being so controlled. And guess what? I mentioned it before too. You know what government means? Yeah, well, if you go to the root and you put it into, even if you put it into ChatGPT, you still have to contest it because it won't tell you what the true meaning would mean. But let's go and break it down. Govern, to control, to manage, right? And ment is mind, the spirit. So you put it together to control the mind, right? So what the governments are in place for is to control the mind. That's it. They make these programs and these taxes, and they're just for control. Okay, folks, your income is taxed, your purchases are taxed, your ownership on assets are taxed. Guess what? There's a new tax coming up. Thanks, Mark Carney. I don't know who the hell would rehire that guy back in. Like, what do you think? Changing leaders is going to change the structure of the government? Fail, big fail. This guy wants to put a capital gain tax on property transfer over primary residences, folks. Your home is not protected anymore. You sign it off, you have to pay capital gains. And I mean, lately they're not going up that much, so it's not going to be a huge capital gain. Maybe there's going to be capital losses, but it will keep up with inflation, folks. This is huge, and people are not doing anything. They're not saying anything. They're not questioning anything, and that goes back to the same question. I don't even know how long I've been talking for. Everything is so small. So yes, why do we pay taxes? Oh yeah, we're in 30 minutes. Okay, that was enough for a vent, folks. But I just wanted to go back to the taxes. Okay, so roads are built by the tax on fuel, and it makes perfect sense. It's like the more you use them, the more you get taxed, the more that money goes towards the roads. Okay, cool. And there's plenty. I mean, I think sitting at 20 to 30% of what you pay is taxes, right, on fuel, and that's why we see the discrepancy. That's why in America, by the way, little another quote, they have way better roads and they have way less taxes. How is that possible? Anyways, better managers, man. I tell you, Canada is not asking questions, the right questions. And then how about the armies? What are those for? Can we just be Switzerland and be a neutral country? Don't touch us. We have, we can ask for protection to the USA, contract them, and screw the army here. We don't need protection. We're just like, yeah. Anyways, in these magical times, we have to have armies. Awesome. Basic administration. Yeah, we got to pay a politician $200,000 to $300,000 a year, which they probably can write off because it's a service that they do, and they're not taxed as our doctors and nurses. No, but and then they pocket pretty much all of it, and then they basically have high school graduations. Yeah, exactly. Has anybody known of a politician that has gone through extensive schooling and he's an expert on anything? No, they have experts, but who knows? I don't know about you, but I don't feel like this government is doing a great job, and it doesn't have a great leader, and it's just being manipulated. But anyways, that's a different topic. Here, we're gonna go back to our topic of today, which is taxes, filing, and planning. Okay, where are we on the slides? Tax filing versus planning. This is huge. Okay, why? Because now it is tax filing, right? And filing something is history. So I don't know. I've been doing it for the past. That was another reason why it took me so long. I was just trying to catch up on my GST. So you take all the receipts that you put in that shoebox, and you start putting them together. And by the way, I built an app, and it's in the beta mode. I built an app with AI, and if anyone out there wants to learn how to build apps with AI, just give me a ringo. Email is scrolling down at the bottom. Anyways, so with the app, I managed to it takes a picture. It uses AI to decipher what's on that receipt. You just have to double check it, make sure that the date is properly, the vendor is properly, and it files it in my Google Drive. But it can file it anywhere. You can file it on your phone. You can file it anywhere on a safe Google Drive. And the receipt is linked. So now you don't have to have paper anymore. What? Now you don't have to have paper and collect it. And then, guess what? It goes through an AI and it put it through the system, and now it puts everything into a spreadsheet, so that when it comes to, for example, I use it myself for GST. Oh, sorry. That's my fire department call morning. Welcome. Good morning. I hope fire rating is low today. Anyways, quick plug. Again, we're live. Sorry about that. So when it comes to fighting it, I ask her questions. I'm like, hey, can you look at the sheets and tell me my ITC and how do I file in? And it tells me everything line by line. In line 100, you got to put this. In line 200, obviously, always check AI and make sure that the calculations are right. But man, it is one hell of a tool. And if you don't use AI, talk to me, okay? I can show you a few things that you can start off. You can build websites now, and this year is going to be a really cool year because it's going to be agentic AI, which is like it will do stuff for you, and you can control it off of your phone voice and just talk to it. So it's going to be amazing. And then pretty soon we're going to have the robots. Don't you see? Elon Musk. And they're all going to pay by taxes. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, going back. Filing versus planning. Tax filing is history. It's old. It's in the past, right? And tax planning is strategy. You got to plan. I mean, it's probably too late for this year, but next year, man. And let's sit together. Let's have a talk. Let's plan. Let's plan together. I am no expert. I dress up like I am because that gives you authority. Oh, another plug. I'm reading this book. I don't know if you can see it. The national bestseller, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. And man, what a book. I was just reading a part that, you know how authorities and all peoples in high places have they dress up in suits or they have lab coats and everything because it makes people feel like they have authority. So whatever they say, they're going to do. And there's been some crazy experiments that have been done. And this book is probably from the 80s. I don't know, like the way it's talking. We've just barely had emails, right? But anyways, it goes into like how people out of control, right? And all the politicians, you see them, they're dressed up in suits and they're being interviewed and they look like all price, but then because you have this impression that they know what they're doing, and yet nobody is questioning them. Nobody goes, hey, why don't you do this? Or why did you do that? Why am I paying taxes? Anyways, this show's starting to turn out like, why paying taxes show? But anyways, I'm trying to help you here. Filing tells you what happened. Okay, what happened, and you tell the government, this is what I did. This is how much income I made. This is how many expenses I had. Oh, okay. And then the government tells you, oh, you're in the 40% bracket. Pay us 40% of your income. But guess what? We deducted it all year. We had it in a fund. We kept it there. We earned interest on it. That was another thing that pissed me off when I had my own business, was that I was paying for the taxes and they had it. And then at the end of the year, they say, okay, this is what we have. And, oh, okay, we're going to give you back this much money because you did such a good job. Ugh, man, if it doesn't boil you up, man, this is crazy. And for farm families, planning touches everything. Timing of purchases, right? Like you want to pay later as much as you can because your profit margin, your harvest is so far ahead. And then the timing of the sales, right? Like when are your incomes coming in? That's why CSA boxes help, right? They create the structure. You need to have the structure, the succession, the protection. Protection is so important if you want to stay in business. Okay. Why do farm tax feels different? Oh, I gotta change my slide before I forget. Okay. Farm life makes tax planning more complex because, well, first of all, farms have assets. The land is huge. The land is limited. the land keeps on increasing in value, and it keeps having issues in the future that could make that land taken away. Taxes, property transfer tax. And again, like I said, primary residences are not taken in, but farms need vast amount of land because the profit margins are so low that they need high level of assets, and then that assets doesn't all fall in under one primary residence, right? So once you start making money off the land, then in succession, or you're going to start paying taxes. Obviously, there is some incentives. I'm saying that the government is so nice to give incentives to farmers where we get cheaper fuel costs, or maybe a little tax breaking, and GST rebates and everything like that. But still, it's like, you got to pay this, but you're doing good. You're a good citizen. We'll give you back. And it's just, to me, it feels ridiculous, because why not take it at the initial cost? Because they're making money, right? They make money off of everything. Income can swing year by year, so you need to have protection, right? And that's one of the biggest key for planning. Not just to now. It's like, oh, I spent this much. Whoa, I went overboard. It's create the budget, follow the budget, and at the end, adjust, right? But this is time to adjust, not the time to make decisions. Major tax events trigger tax consequences. Yeah, land, equipment, and transfers. Those are the main threes when it comes to farming. And it's important, and even vehicles should be there. They're all included in the equipment, but talking to other businesses, right? Like, it could just be an umbrella for just businesses. Family decisions and business decisions are often mixed together. Yes, that's one of the biggest things, is that you need to keep things separate, because especially when you start corporations, if you start mixing the two, it creates a hell of a confusion at tax time. And then your accountant is going to look at you and be like, which shoebox is for which? And then it's like, oh, but I was using both shoeboxes. I was using just the one. And don't do that. Don't do that. It's very important to keep everything separate. And oh wow, look at that. I just found something. Never mind, sorry. Just playing with StreamYard. Okay, let's move on. Mistake. Let's go with the mistakes, okay? We're going to probably rush through this. I have 15 minutes of the show, and this is where the juice is coming from. Mistake number 1, waiting until tax season. Oh, I didn't do it properly. 5 mistakes. Here we go. Families make. Mistake number 1, waiting until tax season to plan. And it's even, I don't know. I don't think I could be planning right now, because I'm just collecting all my taxes. I'm making apps, to make the future better, right? Like, I'm sharpening the saw now, but I should take my own advice as well. Don't start doing it now. I should have started in May, June, but obviously, life gets busy, and I hear you. I'm there with you. I've been there for the past, whatever time. I started working when I was 15. So now it's like 32 years that I've been working, paying taxes, and learning about this. And every year you learn something new, because guess what, man? The people at the top, they want their income, because they're overspending. They're the best. They're the worst money managers, because if taxes increase every year, that means that they're failing. Wouldn't that be logical? They're failing, right? The taxes, if they were having success, taxes should be lower. Government should get smaller, because there would be less to control. But instead, it's getting bigger and stupider. Sorry, government. Yeah, you can cut this off, and it probably won't be broadcast anymore. But anyways, going back. Mistake number one, wait until tax season to plan. Yes, most people talk about taxes when it's time to file. And then they ask their accountants. And, like now accountants just called mine the other day and he's working until 11 and it starts at 7. And he's just, camping out at his office for the next 2 months, right? Because that's what they live off, right? They live off the season, the tax season, right? And I mean, accountants are awesome. It's not their fault. It's the way the system is structured, right? So, but don't leave it until now. Talk about taxes. Guess what? They're free probably 9 months out of the year. And those 9 months could do you more, like especially us farmers. If we started talking to your accountant maybe in December, you get more stuff done. And then when comes tax season, you don't even have to talk to them. You're like, no, it's okay. We had a plan. I got it on my calendar, everything, and just set up 2 or 3, maybe just do quarterly, every quarter. Check your tax plan. Are you following it? Are you filing everything properly? Like your GST, if you're filing it quarterly, that's the perfect time. Just take 2 hours out of your day. I know how hours are very important, but just have apps ready, have accountants on the speed dial, and then just give them a call, review. Mistake number 2, messy books equals missed opportunities. Whoa, this is huge. I put this one there because when I was going through my filings, and I'm like, the receipts, and now we're getting receipts everywhere. We're getting them now emailed to you because it's convenient. But now you got to parse all your inboxes. And I have a few because I have a few businesses. So I'm trying to keep everything separate. And it's not just, your personal taxes. It's your business taxes. So that now you have 2, 3, 4 businesses. And now people have to have 3 or 4 businesses because it's that kind of world. Like, I don't know about you, but gas over here is at $2.12 the other day at diesel, right? And diesel is like essential for everything, transportation and fuel and everything like that. So, I mean, we need to have 2 incomes, 4 incomes, passive incomes. You got to have property, have rental properties. And, like there's a lot of stuff to manage, right? And everything can't be filed in the same place. And then some of it can be personal, or some of it, if you started corporations, you could have multiple corporations. That's what rich people do. They have multiple corporations. But obviously, at one point, there's going to be a point where you actually got to keep everything separate and all you have to do is be the CEO. But you have to understand the points of where you're going, right? Like where everything is going, how everything works, right? And this one is the biggest one because it's about keeping money. It's not about making money. It's about making it and keeping the most of it. So bookkeeping, let me tell you, if you want to create an app, give me a call. Messy bookkeeping doesn't just create stress. It creates bigger tax bills because guess what? You're not filing your tax deductions, or you're not, and that money is gone. You'll never get it back. When the numbers are unclear, deductions get missed. That's the number one, right? Deduction gets missed. Categories get blended. So if for whatever reason you're going to get audited, probably I will, because I'm not an anti-government, but I'm talking bad about the government. Now AI is extracting everybody out, by the way. We're being controlled, people. There's no doubt about it. And until we don't stand up and we become one voice, man, they're going to stomp at each individual, and they're just going to pick them up just like a little duck and bang them. No, can't do that, right? So then going back, categories get blended, and I don't know if you understand this part, but that's in accounting terms. You want to have the proper categories, proper deductions, right? And then the accountant is going to take more time because he's going to start freaking guessing. Hey, what was this for? What do you put it under, right? And it's just bad practice. And this is so crucial. I was bad. I was super bad. I had everything everywhere. I was like, oh, screw this. What are we doing? So what I was trying to do is I was trying to find excuses not to pay taxes, and always lived in a stressful world, especially at this time of the season. And let me tell you, I gave it up for 6 years. I didn't file my taxes. I didn't want to be part of this game, this sad little game that everyone is playing. Anyways, off topic again. If it's not captured correctly, it can't be planned correctly, people. Okay, so don't want to divulge too much into this. Let me check my slides. Okay, no, that's good. Okay, so mistake number 3. Structure doesn't match your goal. I'm not saying one structure is always better. I'm saying your structure, what you planned for, must match where you're going to go. Where are you going? Ask yourself, if your goals are changing, growth, kids, joining, retirement, expansion, structure might need to evolve. It depends what stage you're in. This is why I'm not financial advising. I'm just educating people, right? It has to match your goal plainly. Let's sit down. Let's go through what you see in the next 3 to 5 years. It all depends. I'm talking to some clients, they're retiring in 3 years. I'm talking to some clients that want to expand their farm ventures, and now they're looking at properties. It's all different, okay? And you need to have a plan. You need to have an accountability partner too. Okay, mistake number 4, big assets moves without a tax plan. Okay, this one is huge. Okay, when you're selling something as an asset, like what we talked about before, either land or equipment, or you're purchasing it, or anything, any transfer of ownership nowadays, excuse me, it's taxable. It's taxed. Property transfer tax. Where's that tax going, people? Property transfer tax. You know how many transactions last week? There were 34 transactions for an average of $500,000. At 2%, let's be fair. 2% is for the first 200 grand. Okay, maybe let's say 1%. Take the 2% of the first 200 grand. So take 1% of 1.1 million. That's $150,000 in taxes. Where are they going? I don't see roads paved in gold. I don't see infrastructure. The school system, oh my God, what a joke. The kids don't have they should all have computers. Each should have a tablet if the taxes were going in the proper places, right? Our healthcare system, man, I'm hearing those stories BC is actually crashing when it comes to health. ICBC, man, they're a ripoff. It's a monopoly. Man, I could go on all day. Never mind. Okay, I'll stop there. Anyways, the mistake isn't always the move. It's doing the move without modeling the after-tax reality. So it's you got to see where the taxes are going and how to diminish them, right? What kind of ownership you want to structure on that asset, right? You want to structure a personal, corporate. Always probably the best suggestion is corporate, but it's up to the individual and it's cost related. So it's a huge problem that comes into any family. It doesn't have to be farm families, but farm families are tied to the biggest assets, which is land. So they're the ones that are paying the most out of all this. But anyways, so mistake number 5, and the last one here, but not the least, succession is put off until it's urgent. Okay, folks, this is huge because everything is done too late because we're all built or programmed into reaction mode, right? So when it comes to succession, if you don't plan it now with proper products like insurance, if you don't protect your heirs and you don't are not expecting these costs, sometimes even land passing, it will force a sale, and it'll force the sale of your farm and what you worked on. You don't want that. Yeah, that avoidance is going to create pressure in the future, and it's just going to, let me tell you, it's ugly. I got so many stories, but I don't have the time to tell you all the stories. But pressure at the end is going to create expensive decision. Everything's going to be expensive because of why? Because of the taxes. And it's weird that we have to prepare for taxes, but that's like the Monopoly game. Whenever you fall on that tax, pay the tax, or the uncertainty, and it was always taxes, right? And you just got to know what they are and what to expect, and expect for the worst, right? You got to have the $200 highest tax level that you could hit. Anyways, start with a timeline and a family conversation, right? Just start talking. Like I made many shows before. It's like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the worst that can happen and the best that can happen too, so that we're prepared for both. Sometimes, hey, what if you made 100 grand this year? Where are you going to put it? You're not going to go, okay, I can put it in vacation. Well, is that the best place you can put it, or can you reinvest in equipment, make your place more efficient, another employee, so that you can have more time for you, your family, whatever you want, the goals, right? Depends on what you want, what are your goals, right? So that's the end of the 5 mistakes. Okay, folks? So mistake number 1, waiting until tax season to plan. Bad one. Messy books equal missed opportunities. 100%. Mistake number 3, structure doesn't match your goal. Mistake number 4, big assets move without a tax plan. Mistake number 5, succession is put off until it's urgent. So what I want you to do, here's a practical, super fun list. What to do this week. If you want to improve this immediately, book a proactive planning conversation. Yes, with me. That's right. I am here to help you. So let's book a conversation. Let's go through your numbers. And all this is free. Hello. Why wouldn't you want to do it? I don't know. Maybe because I'm a weirdo and you don't want to talk to me. That's fine. Ask these 3 questions. What decision this year could create the biggest tax impact? What will we do differently if we plan 90 days earlier? Are there any tiny moves we should consider before year end? And then number 3, clean up your bookkeeping categories for the next 30 days. Okay, just clean up. Make your bookkeeping like bulletproof. That it's so easy that your 5-year-old could do it, because you could be like, hey, you want to take a picture for daddy? Perfect. Take a picture, or money, whatever. And then make a list called major events this year, right? So your CSA boxes, your sales, your farmers market, have them all listed, because that will be your income. Based on last year's income, I'm just making an example, and then we'll take off from here. Based on last year's income, figure out how much you made from the farmers market, from your CSA boxes, and hopefully there's room for improvement because you're growing. And your hires, how much you paid in working costs, what your transfers are going to be. Are you purchasing more land or big greenhouses or whatever? Or what does it need to be kept, right? So make sure that you have everything planned and you're not caught again like this year, like you are right now. So that is my tips for this show. So plan it earlier and you can keep more. You got to keep clean records, super clean, like crystal clear, that AI can just go through them and help you. Use AI. You know, it's one of the greatest tools that we had since the internet, and it's going to get bigger, and you can be left behind. And I know it's, oh, I'm a farmer, I'm old school. No, I get it. I've been there. I questioned it myself too. But The people that are using it are the people that are going to stomp over you. And oh, there was a card here, and it goes with the negotiating. The secret of power in negotiating. The 5 underlying facts you must understand about it. You are negotiating all the time. Everything you want is owned or controlled else. There are predictable responses that you can count on in the negotiating process. There are 3 critical factors in every negotiation: power, information, and time. Okay? You're negotiating all the time, people. The proper mesh of personality types is important to negotiating success. Yes. Know who you're dealing with, right? And I don't know about you, there's no negotiating with the government. Anyways, I just want to thank you for watching this. In the future now, I didn't see any comments, so I probably just talked to myself the whole time. And if you were shy out there, you didn't want to talk to me, that's fine. I'm no expert. Again, this is the disclaimer at the end of the show. Please take all this that we talked about. And if you watch until the end, fantastic. Thank you for watching. I hope I didn't scare you bejeebus or put you down a conspiracy hole here or a rabbit hole. Just plan. It's so important. Clean up. You know, it's springtime. You got to clean up. I'm going to take my own suggestions as well. I'm going to clean up too. I'm cleaning, I'm setting up, planning, like irrigation systems and everything. And then you got to have the right structures for your goals. And it's so important to have goals as well. I mean, if you don't have goals, that's fine. Just continue on. Maybe you saw this show as a waste of time. And if you're listening to this later on, get in touch with me. I'm here to help. I'm here to share my knowledge and what I've experienced so far in my life. And if you want to share your experience, please let me know. I'd love to have you on the show, and we talk about this stuff or more. What I want, the goal is for everyone to have financial freedom, to have a happy and prosperous life. So thanks again for being here. This is Farmers in Finance, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Reach out. Please subscribe to the show as well, to my different channels. I'm on Facebook right now. I'm on LinkedIn and YouTube. I hope to see you next time, and we'll see. I hope that was it. Okay. Have a great day today and enjoy this beautiful day. Bye-bye.